The time has finally come. The time that I've been waiting for years, and that is Borderlands 3. Borderlands 3 has finally released. I'm enjoying the game. It's pretty daggone awesome, but there are some issues, and there's some things that Gearbox is going to need to address sooner rather than later. And hey, let's just get into it. So of course, Borderlands 3 is published by 2K Games and developed by Gearbox. Gearbox has developed all the Borderlands games. They own the Borderlands license. I'm not going to rehash all the controversies that have occurred this year with Gearbox's CEO and 2K. This video is simply about the game and just the game. And so, since we are talking about criticisms and not getting into the non-gaming criticisms, let's get into the technical issues that this game does have. There is a lot of talk about people losing their game saves on PC through Epic Game Store. That's going on. I'm not going to talk about that because I haven't experienced it personally. It's unfortunate. That needs to be fixed ASAP, or people need to be compensated with a refund if they want that in some way, if that happened to them. But I will just be speaking about the technical issues that I personally experienced. I've had serious frame rate issues at times, mostly on the planet Promethea, in those areas. The first time I went to Promethea, it was almost a slideshow. Like, the frames were down to single frames at one point. Ever since then, I've been back to Promethea multiple times through my playthrough, and I haven't experienced it like that before. Very weird on why that happened when it did happen, but it is something that every now and then I notice a dip, but the majority of it happened on Promethea, and yeah, that stuff has got to get ironed out. I'm playing on an Xbox One X, and so I can imagine people how bad the frame rate would be for those playing on a base Xbox One, Xbox One S, or a base PlayStation 4. The whole thing really is unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. Games should not have been released in this state. If Gearbox needed another month or two to iron bugs out, get the frame rate stable, take care of those issues, then that is something that 2K should have allowed Gearbox to do. I also dealt with audio cutting out on some scenes, actually just one scene in particular. As soon as you leave Pandora, there's a scene where there's a cutscene where all the characters are speaking, and I think they're talking about what they're going to name the new ship that they are leaving Pandora in, and that probably 90% of that entire scene I had to watch, basically follow along with the subtitles, because there was zero audio whatsoever. And it finally cut back in at the very end, which, considering how it happened twice, because I played through it once and I played through it again with a buddy. Shout out to Gaming Forte, who I was playing with when that happened, and it leads me to believe that the audio cutting back in at the exact time it did lets me know that this was probably a audio channel issue that they have made a mistake on and need to get ironed out, considering I was using my surround sound gaming headset both times, and the people that I was playing with both times, when I saw that cutscene, said they didn't have any issues whatsoever listening to what was going on. So that out of the way, let's get into the story. So the story for Borderlands 3 is your typical Borderlands story. It's lots of humor, lots of brutality, lots of gore. There's a lot of making jokes and making light of people being slaughtered and killed in the worst possible way. It's your typical Borderlands story. If this isn't for you, hey, you knew this is the third game and it's a series, so you knew what you were getting. You should have known what you were getting into when you bought the game. I do think the dialogue isn't as good as the Borderlands 2 dialogue, and that may be due to Anthony Birch, who was the lead writer for Borderlands 1 and 2, no longer being at Gearbox. But regardless of that, it gets the job done. It feels like Borderlands. I am a level 22 Siren. I haven't finished the game yet, but I've seen some of the major story beats, and I do believe Borderlands fans will enjoy this. And as a Borderlands fan myself, I am digging the campaign. It's pretty cool. They took the story the only place they really could go, considering how the main campaign ended with them seeing the vault key showing all these different vaults all over the galaxy, with the way the expansions ended, with the way Tales of the Borderlands ended. You had to get away from Pandora. They couldn't have the third game just being at Pandora anymore. And let's kind of get into the antagonists. So the Calypso twins, I think they're good villains. I do like how modern they're trying to make them. So they're like YouTubers in a sense. They're streaming everything that they're doing. They got massive followers. Their tagline is like, comment, and obey, which is very similar to what you'll see a lot of YouTubers say about like, comment, and subscribe. So they're very modern in that sense, and they do things within the story that make you really want to murder them as quickly as possible. Like they're good villains in that sense. They are not as present. You don't hear from them as often or see them as often as you saw Handsome Jack in the previous game, nor do they really have his charisma. Like they have lines where they're trying to be humorous. Some of them are hit or miss. Some of them are funny, some of them aren't. But they do have that crazy insanity that Handsome Jack had, where you just kind of know you're dealing with someone two people who are really unhinged, and they work for the story. The combat, man, the combat is it's the same gameplay loop, and I love it. It has that same diverse skill trees that the previous games had. Outrageous guns that you wouldn't imagine someone would make a gun that would grow legs or sprout legs and start running around and shooting after you were done with it. They have guns where the guns can overheat and you pull out water to cool the gun down, and that's like your reload. It's hilarious. Borderlands is Borderlands. Gearbox did not try to do anything out of the ordinary. They knew what their community wanted. They provided what they wanted. When you have a good format, there's no need to fix it. It's not like with Gears of War, where people are like, or the gameplay loop is stale. They need to do some things different in order for the next game. And Coalition did that. They added some open world stuff. They added some side mission, things like that. That was cool, that was needed, because the gameplay loop of Gears was stale. Furthermore, Gears of War is on its 6th game. Borderlands is on its 3rd. This gameplay loop is not stale, and the game hasn't been around for about 5 years. So there was no need for them to go outside the box of doing some things that you would not expect of Borderlands. It is what it is, and it's good. It is the grandfather of loot shooters, and it shows it in this game. I'm currently building a melee-focused, close-range weapon-wielding Siren, and it's awesome. I love using Amara. I'm a level 22 right now, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Borderlands continues to be that series that allows you to truly build your Vault Hunter to the playstyle you choose. Now, being melee focused and tanking the way I'm doing with the Siren isn't exactly my playstyle. It's just kind of the playstyle I wanted to do this time. But the great thing about it is that I can have the Siren as a tank, and you can have your Siren being just using a lot of the different elements and damage dealing and fighting from a distance. It's just the skill trees are so diverse, yet at the same time built in a way where certain skills synergize with each other. It's amazing. And that's the part of Borderlands that you just can't get anywhere else in any other loot shooter. Not The Division, not Destiny, not Warframe. Nothing works building skill trees in the combat loop that like it does in Borderlands. So overall, this is exactly what I wanted. When I knew that they were making Borderlands 3 and when they announced the game, I got what I wanted. I got a continuation of the story of Borderlands, and I got more of that awesome gameplay that had me playing the games for years and years previously. And so with that said, I did do a poll on Twitter asking you guys as well as anyone who follows me on Twitter, that, you know, what did you guys want me to do Borderlands content? Did you guys want to see like build videos, tips and tricks, stuff like that? I've done a video like that before with Borderlands 2. Did you want me to continue something like that with Borderlands 3? And overwhelmingly, about 2/3 of you guys said, yeah, that's what you want. You want to see something more videos in that sense of showing you guys how to play the game and certain things like that. So my very next video will be a guide to beating the boss Kilovolt solo. I know there are some guys out there that are playing solo or just don't have, at the time they're playing that, they don't have anyone else to play with. Kilovolt can be killed with a party pretty easily, but solo, it's pretty difficult. So I'm going to show you guys how to get that done. And then also my video after that, what may not be the very next video, but my very next Borderlands video after that one will be a guide to building your Vault Hunter. How to build your Vault Hunter out the correct way. Where do you start? How do you get your skills synchronized the right way? And how do you allow the mods and the shields and the weapons to all work together? I'm going to show you guys how to do all that. It's the same for Borderlands 3 as it is for 2 and 1. So it can be used across all the games, and it's going to be an awesome video. I hope you guys check it out. And that is it. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you don't like the video, hit the dislike button. It's all good. And hit the comment section. Let me know how you guys are enjoying Borderlands 3. And I'm out. Peace.